give it to Neon.
No, it still has certain timings to it. Neon plays really well around. I think what happened the last time they picked it up, it looked like 496 knew the timings up against it. They knew how to play against it. They had a lineup focused on team fight. New Esports, for their part, they're starting to draft around that. They get to pick up the Morris, which has been ignored as well in that first phase. The Phoenix isn't banned out yet. We might see that combination down the line. You know, all these heroes that focus on wide AoE control, constant fights at a certain timer can somehow overwhelm the Chen if you're not careful. The Witch Doctor, for its part here, it can be a bit 50-50. Once you have a big Chen army, going to be harder to land the consistent cask bounces. But before that point, laning phase especially, you can get prolonged stuns if you're not careful. You're going to have to be cautious with your spacing here on the Chen. And we've got a pretty interesting draft. I mean, we talked about New Esports, right? Like, these guys surprised us in the first day. They tend to run drafts that are very different. How often do you see a Witch Doctor with a Mars together? Like, the last time we saw this, I want to say that was Boom ID in BTS Pro Series Season 2. So that's like a good month or two ago.
Absolutely. They do tend to run very unique drafts, but so do Neon Esports, right? So do many Tier 2 teams, in fact. Like, 496 is out there. They've been running some pretty wacky stuff, and I've got to say, John, I just love it. This is what I love about the SCA region. There's no there's no stale meta, right? Like, you go to EU, they're picking the same thing over and over again. No, I can't lie. It's the same 10 heroes every time. You know, you start to fall asleep at some point, but with SCA, they keep it fresh.
Oh, yeah.
They keep it exciting, and that's what we love to see.
Oh, yeah.
Sports going back into their ban phase. They did get rid of the Bat Rider. We'll get rid of the Ember Spirit now. I think they're just going to focus down on those Yopage heroes for Neon, as he has not revealed anything yet, and I think it's also safe to assume that they probably are going to give Skem the POS 1 Chen. That's just kind of what we expect at this point.
10 seconds remaining.
I guess he can still change it up, but it's probably unlikely. Like, he seems to really enjoy this hero.
Yeah, I mean, he loves the timings. He loves playing aggressive with it. You farm up to the Dominator for him, and he just runs down you. So he's used to the timings, and he can pretty much control the lane. You can't underestimate the lane control a Chen provides early. No matter what the off-lane matchup is, it can be a bit tricky. So Skem's going to find that steady farm. Looking back at it, I can't recall too many games where Januel actually gets to pick up that Chen. So, not entirely sure if they even do flux it that often, but the potential is there if they do find themselves feeling less confident. We haven't seen Neon feel unconfident about the Chen. Well, probably just going to be that straightforward game. And New Esports, though, it's been, they're the team that seems to really favor, and we talked about strange drafts, but this is the team that has been consistent with Bloodseeker. They tend to like picking it up. I don't know if you can slide it in with a Mars. You might be looking at a Bloodseeker POS 1, which, again, New Esports has done a couple of times. It works well there with Bloodright Arena. I think if you were looking for that team fight effect, that's one way to get it done. It's just that you can't expect to be proccing Bloodthirst too much because of the Chen. So if you are going to go for the Bloodseeker here, it might be a bit trickier to find that opening, and they go with a Tusk. So Witch Doctor Tusk, this is a painful support duo to deal with. Along with Morris, you might see an early tri-lane just to get first blood.
And you were bringing up the position 1 Bloodseeker. I believe that was actually 496 that were running.
Yeah.
The New Esports side have been running Bloodseeker, but as far as I can tell, it's only been POS 3. Still would like to see it, though, if I'm honest, because it is a very nice combination. Like, the Bloodright and Arena is the perfect size for each other. You know, just it fits very, very nicely. You'd love to see it out from New Esports if they could fit it in. Still, Neon, they'll make their third pickup now, and like you said, the support duo of New Esports is quite potent. We'll have to be a bit wary about that. There is a lot of rotation potential, this support duo. Neon. Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, so maybe not a POS 1 Chen.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way. They're going to go with the Casino Knight. It makes its appearance once more. We've seen the aggression it pumps out be really beneficial. You don't have the best ways for New Esports to deal with the illusions. Somewhat God's Rebuke can handle it down the line, though. I have to say, early on, the CK with the early Phantasms, it might be a bit risky to jump in if you don't see the Witch Doctor. You talked about the cask with Chen. I think the cask with Chaos Knight and level 1 Phantasm is a much bigger risk. That's a guaranteed bounce between those two. So you're going to be able to find ways to deal with it somewhat early on, but you can see Neon's timings are tying up well. They want to play fast with the CK. They've got the Chen to sustain. They've got the Tiny for some damage as well. They can draft around that aggression in new esports. They've got to be ready for it. Neon is not a team that lets you sit back and just relax. They make you work. With new esports, for their part, they have been pretty aggressive as well. So it's going to be an interesting clash.
There's a Ricky coming out now for new esports. Interesting pickup. We've seen a bit of Ricky popping up over the past couple days, and it has had mixed results. It
10 seconds.
A bit of Ricky over the past couple days. Effectiveness of the Ricky has been a bit questioned, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Even when they do have a very good start, it just doesn't seem to transition to an endgame victory, which is what you're playing the Ricky for in the first place. Not sure about it this game, John. I know it jukes out the CK and Tiny quite nicely. It's quite hard to hold down, but I don't know. It hasn't had a good track record.
Yeah, it's been up and down. I think the last time we saw it, that was the off-lane Ricky with a safe lane Storm, right? So there's a lot of pressure in the Ricky to really grow big. You don't have that in this case for New, so there's not as much heavy pressure for him to just snowball hard, but it's still very sensitive to that timing. We always talk about diffusal, the build-up into it being super important. Not even just that, but the build-up into 2 Wraith bands for early aggression and some form of durability are really important for the Ricky. You can't afford to be slowing down in that safe lane, so there has to be a lot of investment here from you to maintain that. There is some potency though, like Tusk around tag team is just fantastic. If you can isolate them with the tricks of the trade, it's a lot of damage. Neon though, they do get to pick up that Phoenix. We were talking about this with the Mars. This time around, new esports will have to play against it, and so far, they've got 2 melee cores, 1 melee support. It's going to be, it might be a bit challenging to gap close and take that egg out.
It's quite intriguing as well, right? Because we haven't seen much Phoenix over the past couple group stage days. It's been very, very intriguing in that sense because Phoenix is just such a strong hero, even with the recent nerfs. It doesn't seem bad at all. But we haven't seen it prioritized up until this point, and even then, it was a 4th pick. Speaking of, by the way, is this a core Phoenix that we're seeing, or is this a support Phoenix now? Because we could potentially still see like an offlane Chen, or even an offlane CK and a POS 1 Chen. It's still very open for Neon.
Yeah, it really is, and they've got that flexibility on hand. I have a feeling it would be a JG Chen, and probably a play hard Tiny and a genuine Phoenix. I think that's a pretty good way to split these heroes up. You want the fast timings for your Chen to get the mech, the Dominator if you want that push effect. Phoenix is really just about EXP, which we've seen POS 4s, even POS 5s to a certain extent, get at a decent timing. And Neon's lineup isn't as focused on the egg because they don't have a Chronosphere to combine it with. They don't have the arena on their side. More on the sustain aspect, perhaps, but the flexibility is on hand. So that's one thing for you to watch out for, whether or not they're ready. They still have a last pick to kind of counteract the Phoenix. You don't have room for a Snapfire in this case. It's going to have to be the mid pickup to deal with the egg if you're worried. But Neon, they've got to step up. They're going to get to close out their draft first.
They are. 10 seconds reserve time left for this final pickup, and it's going to be the Wind Ranger. Here we go again. I believe that's a Yopaj Wind Ranger we're about to watch here. And on new esports, I've got some decision making to make. You mentioned it. There's no real way to deal with the Phoenix very easily.
10 seconds.
The Wind Ranger kind of seems pretty unaffected this game as well, John. There's not really much to go through that wind run right now. New esports. Okay, they'll go with the Leshrac pick, which it's one way to deal with these cores that Neon Esports have picked up, but we saw the Lesh yesterday. It really wasn't that effective.
No, there's a reason why it faded out of meta. The timings are super sensitive. It has a really sharp drop-off once you see pipes and BKBs coming in. So New Esports has to maximize this Lesh fast. There's a lot of pressure on DDZ to melt these early towers. And Neon, I think they've cleaned up their draft really well. It is the JG Phoenix, so they are actually going with the Januel Chen. So a little bit less off the wall for Neon. You know, it's much more standard, which, quite frankly, it's been a while since we've seen Neon run something that makes sense. So this is actually a breath of fresh air for them. They've got a pretty solid draft. Again, it's a Phoenix up against 3 melee heroes. Leshrac doesn't right-click well. Witch Doctor doesn't right-click well. They've got sustain with the Chen, with the Phoenix Sunray. And there's a lot of sustain here from Neon, and Yu is going to have to find a way to mitigate that and overcome it to get their Leshrac draft working.
That they will. It all does pan out. Game number 1. Never mind.
That's not good.
Well, it's not good, John, especially considering you're the one that recommended the mouse. So we'll have some conversations about this later on, sir. I think I've got some feedback to provide.
Hey, mine is still working well. Mine is older, so I don't know what you're on about, Mike. Mine is perfectly fine. What have you been doing with that mouse?
With that mouse, John.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I brought that in myself.
You did. Get into it. Game number 1.
That the Arcana still looks so good. I'll never get over it. Look at that. Look at the poly counts, Mike. So many polys. Compare that to everyone else. Literally everyone else. Look at Witch Doctor. His textures are so flat, and I love Witch Doctor. But man, you know, these new models are just way up there. You can really see that disparity.
Totally. Do love our triangles out here, John. Angles are good.
Yeah, you know, there was one thing that was bothering me about New Esports, right? So it does look like we're not seeing Lance here today. It's going to be Barry filling in for him once more, which does mean, I believe we have Yamate on the core role. Yeah, Yamate is in the POS 1 rookie, so it's a shakeup. Day 1, we saw him with Lance in POS 1. It's back to Yamate core because he's not around. I don't know how to feel about this one. His performance was a bit middling. Perhaps we'll see an improvement here with Ricky. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Yamate, of course. The snowball, diffusal timing, great band timing is going to be key. And Ricky's not a super easy laner, so he's going to have to watch his spacing there.
Just 30 seconds now.
Speaking of, Paj needs to be a little bit cautious in that mid lane. They are slowly wrapping around here, but he'll run away, just throwing out some taunts while he can. What is JG doing? I swear we saw this in the previous tournament where JG just starts pump faking Roshan. And I don't know why, till this day, I don't know why he does it.
There's a spot in the Roche where you can get vision in the pit and outside while being inside a pit. You know how the fog starts at a certain line? So you can peek outside for any rotations while not showing yourself, maybe preemptively break out smokes. That's the only reasoning I can see. There are little areas in the Roche pit where you can get a free look outside. So it's like a defensive play. I think that might be what Neon just preempts, looking to break up any potential smoke ganks.
Well, thank you for that, John. That's actually a really good answer.
Yeah, it's a neat spot.
Unexpected.
It's a very neat spot if you're a sport. Really fun spot. Still, that top lane, you look at it, Mike, play hard and JG up against Yamate and Mozen. Not an easy lane. If you cock those spirits, Yamate's damage does slow down, but JG doesn't land the first two. Looks like they're just going to settle on harassing Mozen out. Levels really important for both sides. Witch Doctor does not like playing without levels. Ricky as well, but same for the duo of Neon. So you don't want to really be shoved from lane here.
JG. A lot of damage is going to come out here from Yamate, but it'll be alright. Looking over to that mid lane, DDZ going to be up against Yopaj. Now, the Leshrac, again, hasn't had the greatest performance from the last game we saw it in. See if DDZ can put on a performance here on this Lesh, but again, it has been the last time, and I believe it was Carl the last time playing that Lesh rack on Execration, but it did not pan out.
No, it's...
Still DDZ, completely new player, of course, can show us some stuff on this hero.
Yeah, it's looking decent so far, 5-1. He's got a big creep wave coming in. You do have a level advantage already in a Podge, and the one thing here is that your Podge does have some pretty decent range. He can stand back, he can play with power shot. DDZ needs to close up a bit to get some harassment off. And it's just so hard to land that stun. If you don't land it, then you're not shoving your Podge out of lane. Yeah,
and he's probably just gonna go ahead and max out this Wind Run, just because there's so much value with it, right? You'll never be able to catch this Wind Ranger as the Lesh rack unless you do land that stun, and even then, it's just so hard to keep up once he pops that Wind Run ability. And we'll have a look at the last lane while these guys are going at it. Of course, bot lane, do have Januel there with Skem. Oz 1 CK. Of course, Candyloon and Mars. Excuse me, Candyloon on Mars and Barry on the Tusk. Gonna be up against him, and well, so far Skem's been having a very good time on the CK, not too much happening, but now with a great spear out and the tag team that can get quite a bit of harass. Not quite enough to kill him off, but they're gonna get through some regen.
Yeah, every single time we talk about someone having a good lane, Mike, something just happens. Scam gonna have to eat through those tangos to maintain that, but you know, this is a Chen lane. This is how Neon can play around it. Manuel gets the pull, grabs some creeps, keeps the levels up, and then they can start to look for opportunities to right-click. It's a very tanky duo from New, so you're not going to be trading too hard. They can kind of tank through that damage. What I'm interested in seeing is really Skem's decision making. Is he going to go for the Echo Saber? Is he going to go SNY? Maybe the Armlet? Or is he going to go for the Midas we tend to see? Going to be important to set the pace for Neon depending on what that CK goes for.
That's very true. We'll have to wait and see what Skem's decision will be this game. You might just rely on your Page to really set the tempo here on the Wind Ranger. These Wind Rangers have been very strong as of late. It just seems like once you've got the MKB, you don't really need any damage item. Just get a BKB after that and you're set to go.
Oh,
yeah. A very difficult predicament for the opposing team. Just how to deal with that. Now Barry gonna try and secure this bottom power rune, but it ends up being top anyway, so now the rush is on for that illusion rune top. Play hard, actually could have gone ahead and secured and will be able to. Your Page does get it bottled up. It'll give him a nice little advantage in that mid lane.
Yeah, heavy investment from Neon to get those power runes. 2 supports coming in just to make sure it goes to your Page. Worthwhile though. It does keep the Wind Ranger up. You're seeing DDZ not lag behind too hard. Of course, just not having the bottle means you're not going to deal with a spell spam, and Hippage will get to pump a couple more power shots off. So he's going to be clearing out some smaller camps in the downtime. And you're not seeing any successful rotations from Johnny but they are still finding the lanes. Neon slightly behind though. New Esports is finding some decent farm regardless.
They are. Both teams seem quite satisfied with playing the slow game for now. So we do have those 5-minute bounty runes coming up, but there'll be no engagements over those. Should be a fairly even 2-for-2 trade as per usual. Gotta wait for some like core items to be up before you can expect some rotations to be out from these two teams. So all these heroes do require a bit more than just their base skills to get some kills going.
Look at top though, Mike. JG, he's got 3 heroes around him.
Mosen needs to get that cast out and does not bounce the right way, however, but they have a snowball to follow up. Harry activates the tag team, and now the blink strike in from Yamate is going to be JG should die, but here comes Play Hard with an avalanche. He'll get a toss off, and that'll be Barry going down for first block. Now Yamate gets shackled up. He can't TP out of there. The tricks of the trade will be out, but it won't matter as he is also going to go down. And JG survives in the end.
Oh man, I thought they'd have enough in the tank. Maledict on, tag team on, but both of those melee heroes copped the fire spirits. Yamate couldn't get an additional right click off, neither could Barry. And that's one of the risks you do run when you're jumping a Phoenix's melee heroes. You will comp those fire spirits when they're up, and with that up early on, that speed reduction is just too much. You just can't maximize that. Neon, 2 kills off the bat, successful rotation for your Paj, good time overall.
On the hunt for radiant forces.
Yeah, to make matters worse, John, Januel took the mid lane as your Paj was gone, denied off a DD rune against DDZ using his neutral creep. It's going to really hurt for DDZ to never get a power rune this game. So they are very reliant, these Leshraks, on being able to have constant mana. But without that, it's been a tough mid lane for him. He's still found some CS, but he can't really make rotations on this Leshrak. So he's always just going to be low on mana at this point.
Yeah, and they're losing their mid tier 1 super fast. New is not in the position to defend. Early tier 1 mid being taken out, that's a Leshrak lane. You expect the Leshrak to be the one to melt these towers, but with that objective gone, the jungle opens up just a bit more here for Neon to make rotations in.
They're going to try for a fight. Your Paj will get snowballed up, but he does get the win run. Still the tag team now coming out with the split earth. Not going to land on your Paj, and Play Hard goes in for an avalanche toss with a toss back on DDZ. Now the focus fire and the Icarus dive out, but there's your Arena coming in from Candy Loon. He will save the day for DDZ, or maybe not. The Fire Spirits, the power shot, not going to land. DDZ walks out with 30 HP, and Candy Loon will get a double kill in that mid lane.
That was on the edge for New Esports, but they find some fantastic kills in return for that commitment. Neon just pushing the envelope a bit too much. They stick around after taking the mid tier 1. They got punished, and New turned it around. 2-3 now, all of a sudden. Really timely movement from Candy Loon. This lovely start does mean that the Blink Dagger for him on the Mars is going to be up and running in a pretty decent time. And for New Esports, that is their main initiation. You know, Barry Snowball is nice and all, but the Arena Spear is where most teams play around. So if you manage to get that Blink at a faster timing, you're going to be happy regardless.
That you are. So they have left Skem farming freely in the CK, John, and he's really starting to pull ahead. He's almost got that Midas up on your Chaos Knight now. Looking good. He'll go for a bit of a rift here onto Candy Loon, but does get skewered back, and now Barry gonna be there with Mosen. In fact, even DDZ gonna join in. They'll go for the snowball, and a great shot out from Barry, but Phantasm is gonna be popped by Skem, but he is dropping too quick, or maybe not. The Icarus dive in and the toss up on DDZ. He's the one to drop, but now the Arena is gonna be there from Candy Loon. He's got Skem, but Skem is life stealing and they can't kill him. The egg's gonna explode and the chase continues. Play Hard in the middle of all this, getting snowballed now, but it may not matter as they've got to come out sometime. Mosen, he will be the one to die. Now Barry on the run, but the Shackle and Avalanche gonna be out of Barry. He is certainly dead. The only man left standing being Candy Loon. And it's just perfect play out from Neon Esports.
It's just a wonderful back and forth between both teams. They are never afraid to commit 5 heroes down the lane when they see movement out. I have to say that was surprising for New Esports. Again, I thought Mozen's Maldic caught. It didn't clip Skem. It looks like he dodged it out with a Phantasm right in time. And because of that, you don't find that one big kill. You sacrifice a lot. It's 5-3 now for Neon's way. And because he didn't kill Skem, he's got his Midas. It's flying in now. Power treads with 1 Wraith Band and a Midas at the 10-minute mark. Really good timings in that CK. He's just set to really climb up the net worth as he's already #1 so far.
Good feeling for Skem. That's only set to escalate. Of course, Yamate has been doing a decent job on the Ricky. He is getting fairly close now to that Diffusal Blade, but he does need that up before he can feel confident in his ability to start really doing some damage in these team fights. Try to dish out some Play Hard, and that is a lot of damage, but he's not going to try to finish off the kill. Just let Play Hard get out of there. Perhaps believing that he may have had teammates behind, but mid lane, Paj, what a shackle. Onto DDZ, and now Focus Fire is there, but Snowball out from Barry. The shards not going to lock Paj in. He'll go back onto Mosen now with Play Hard coming in. There's an avalanche, but your focus fire and power shot did not connect. Now your Shackle's not latching either, but Mosen is still going to go down. And your Page wants to try for more. Doesn't have the Shackles, however. We'll have to let Barry go.
Yeah, and they just managed to find something for nothing. They force out some spell uses from new Esports. The supports are always forced to follow DDZ around because when he gets jumped, you don't want that Lesh falling behind. We talked about that timing issue, and Neon, knowing that they've got these spells up, they've got the egg, they smoke up here.
Leave your Page in that mid lane. He's already got that T1 tower, but he can TP down. They still have that T1 bot tower, and here he comes. He's going to go for the TP now onto DDZ. A great start, a great Shackles, and Play Hard. A 3-man avalanche. They've got the arena down. JG has to commit the egg now. Try to survive this one as Mosen is trying to run away on that Witch Doctor, but they'll go for Yamate. He'll use the tricks of the trade, but the Shackles are out from your Page once again, and the power shot right to the face of Yamate. And they just can't catch a break, new Esports.
No, every single movement they have out is punished. They don't even manage to find that tier 1 bot. This is the second time they've thrown bodies on that tower. Neon are set to just get a push going. They're going to try to defend a bit. There's no egg, there's no hand of God. There might be an opportunity, but they are a man down.
They are. Looks like they'll let this one go, Neon. I mean, it is only the bottom T1 tower. Don't really need that one if you're Neon, but new Esports definitely do need to have that bottom T2, T1 tower on the Radiant side go down. They've been trying for a long time, but it's just not happening. Mid lane, however, Play Hard. Gonna get snowboard on with the Warrior's Punch and the shards, but he's not dead. In fact, your Page is gonna rotate in. There's no focus fire yet. They have
Yamate
found the Ricky, however, but Yamate is gonna be all right. Even Skem to show up on the CK. But they will not engage, rather disengage.
That's safer. I think their sentry down mid expired right when the Shackle came out, so they couldn't follow up. And Yamate, who's just camping around, he had the double damage rune, he wanted to find an opportunity, just not really getting there. So they miss out on a nice spike in Neon, slowly building up that lead. 2k advantage now, the Midas and Scam paying dividends. You've got your Page with a Force Staff. So he opts for some utility, some movement out of that smoke screen first.
Mid lane, your Page, he's been caught out in that arena with the spear out. Avalanche is there from Play Hard. Your Page, he's wind running. He can't get out of this though. The Warrior's Punch is going to be there from Barry. They're going to move into that mid tier 1 perhaps. New Esports, they just need a creep wave.
Yeah, they dropped their top tier 1 though, so they're gonna have to look to make this a trade. But you see Neon, they're TPing all their heroes down, they're ready for the defense. That was the blink reveal from your Esports as well, so there's no further surprises lined up, and they can't capitalize into an objective. They just leave that mid tier 1 alone.
We'll get a courier. Let's get it. It was actually JG's available Discord going down. Not a bad snap there from DDT. It's actually quite valuable. But you've got to get some objectives. They're trying. They're going to go bot lane again. It's only Yamate here, however. You're going to need a lot more than that to get this tier 1 down. And in fact, they might not even have a chance. JG, Icarus diving for a bounty. Your Page actually kills off Barry by himself up at that top lane. Now you just definitely can't make a push happen if you're new Esports.
This decision making of new Esports is not going too well. Like, again, this is a Leshrac draft. You want to melt these towers fast. You want to play with the early timings of DDZ. The more the latest, the more time there is for Neon to build up, perhaps into the BKBs, which you do see Yapaj is queuing up next. You're going to have perhaps a pipe down the line as well after certain items come out. You're giving time for the Chen to upgrade his boots into Guardian Greaved. So there's way too much sustain that you're going to be dealing with as this game drags on. And the Leshrac's damage output doesn't scale proportionally. It has a hard cap. At some point, DDZ, if he's not doing damage now, that's not going to change much later on.
Oh, it is not. Yamate, I believe he might have the defusal on the way on that Ricky.
Their bottom tower.
They desperately need it. But imagine, you should expect some kind of smoke out from the side of New Esports with that diffusal blade. I don't think you necessarily want to just sit on this item. You can go for a kill right now. The bot lane is being forced in JG and play hard, but they are just huddling in that mid lane.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Maybe Yamate doesn't feel confident without the BKB. He has queued that up, but I don't really think you can afford to wait that long.
It's such slow going for farming. You talk about the Ricky in this sense. You don't want to be farming creeps, you want to be farming heroes. He has not found that opportunity to try picking off Neon for himself. To be fair though, the supports are pretty tanky. Like Tiny is pretty tick, so is Chip. It's really difficult for Yamate to nail it in. But he's sitting on it, oh man, it's just not what you want to see from Ricky. With this kind of diffusal timing, you just want to go.
You definitely do. Just gonna continue this farm up down to that bot lane.
Is
Neon. You've got Playhard who's almost got that blink dagger up now on that Tiny. He's gonna have it up, it's on the way. It's gonna cause a lot more headache for this New Esports side. They continue to remain grouped up for now. Well, Steve is here on that left track, John. He has had such a tough game. It is not been a fun game for this man.
Yeah.
He's got the Yules up, but it's a Leshrac, right? You need to be ahead of network. You can't be this far behind.
No, it's just not enough. And look at New Esports. This is the 4th time they've clumped up around bot. Can they actually find a tower this time?
Spear is good from Candy Loon. That'll follow up with a snowball now. They want versus man down, and they do just in time. But now the avalanche and tops.
Oh, Yamate.
By Shackle. Yeah, they caught Yamate. He'll trade it off, but they have lost Mosen. And now Yamate is still trying to TP out. Will make it. Very, very nice TP. So it just ends up in a 1-for-1. Definitely a positive trade there for New Esports. But Neon might try to make it worth their while, but pushing the bot tier 1, no, they're just going to leave it be. They'll get back to their own jungle.
That is the 4th time. 4th time New Esports clumps up bot, gets a team fight out, does not find a tower. Maybe they can punish this. Neon are looking to force that bottom tier 1.
Avalanche play hard with the toss out. They've already almost lost Barry, but it's a good arena on Yopaj. Still the Sun Ray, and Yule's going to be out now with the split earth. Yopaj is very, very low and should go down and does, but now you lose DDZ on that left track. Oh, it's not what they want. Mosen, he's also gone. Skem is hitting way too hard. They'll go in for that tier 1 bottom 10. Oh.
And it's actually a success for Neon. So you find some trades, but they get Yopaj. That's the big one. They still trade DDs away. So Leshrac's not feeling too good, and they lose the tower. That's their, 2nd clump up for that bot tier 1. Works out as a success. New Esports have still not made progress in any of these objectives, Mike. Not only is that bot tier 1 healthy, the mid tier 1 as well. The top tier 1 is halfway below the most progress they've had, but you want more. You want these towers gone, not just standing like that.
No, I agree with you on that. Still 1 tower yet to be taken here for New.
mine is truly a blessed.
I'm sure they'll get there soon enough. Only problem being, the longer this goes on, the more farm Skem becomes. He's already got that SNY up, working towards the hard grass now. And that is a very, very scary kind of deal here for New Esports. And once that hard is up, I just don't know how you kill it. It's going to be up very soon.
It's just not, they just don't have enough. Look, you're depending perhaps on the magic damage and DDZ, but he just dies too fast, and it's just so much HP here on top of the sustain Neon has. Like, we talked about the issues, but it's a Chen Phoenix. They heal like madmen. They've got free doctors in here providing free healthcare, and New Esports can't counteract that.
Neon let's continue taking over this dire jungle. Must understand how far ahead they are, and Skem is 300 gold off the heart at 21 minutes in.
Ooh, man. That is just a
300
perfect
gold.
game.
I mean, it
Perfect
really
game.
is.
Like this kind of timing with the SNY on top, with the Midas first, with the power treads on. And new esports right now, what are we looking for? The BKB still needs to come out from Yamate, but then you start to want more damage on that Ricky. A bit late for the Battle Fury, but still sort of plausible to build into. It helps you clear out those Chen creeps, helps you deal with the CK Phantasm evolutions.
GG.
Oh.
Yeah, getting caught out there. He wanted to try and defend that tier 2 bottom tower, but it does not work out for him. And now Skem looks like he wants to go for the fight anyway. Pop Phantasm, there, play hard with your toss avalanche on Kangaloo, and now Mosen just to lead it. And Candy, he'll also go. Play hard, he might die to the Melodict, or he might not. He'll survive. You saw Skem, as soon as he uses that rift, someone is gone.
Oh yeah. His damage output is just insane. His durability is off the charts. He's got his level 18, so that's a max level Phantasm. He inches closer and closer towards his level 20 talent. And either one, I think in this case you'd really want the Spell Immune, Reality Rip, just so you could rip through that BKB pickup of Yamate. Once you have that talent up, it's going to coincide with that. In fact, looking at Yamate, he at level 14. Skem's at 18. That's a 4-level lead from the CK over that Ricky.
That's a problem. That is a real big problem. Got the big BKB coming out. It's about that time now. You've got to make something happen with this draft. The Roshan started. So Neon, they're going to force this. Now with that BKB, perhaps you couldn't have asked for a better time if you knew esports. They'll get vision with the shard. Broken Candy, nice skewer in. Hunt's also thrown out. But Skem just pops the Phantasm and keeps going. He's not afraid of this. Goes for Mosen. Way too close by back. Now play hard. Moving in. There's your in Candy throw. But look at the damage out from Skem. It's too high. Now the egg out as well. They need to snowball out of there, but the egg is going to explode right on top of their heads. They'll lose a secondary. They'll lose a third. And they'll lose a fourth. That'll be your task gone. And Candy, the only man out of there, Page. He wants to have a snipe at this. He will not connect. Candy will be alright, but the Roshan is going to go the way of Neon Esports.
Oh, that was such a clumsy initiation from you. They jump in, they already break their smoke, they already saw the CK inside, but they don't move in. They feel like they bait Neon outside. They're the ones who got baited out instead. And Barry Snowball might have costed them that. Barry Snowball in the middle of that egg, letting it go a bit too late, stunning 3 of his heroes. Yamate's BKB was revealed there, and he still got stunned because the egg actually went off. It's just not lining up. They need to find a way to maximize these item pickups. They're 6k behind. It's not that big. Now, looking at that chart of net worth, a lot of that gold is just in Skem. You're still finding farm on DDZ. You're still finding farm on Yamate. You just need to protect them.
It's going to go for a casual solo kill into Candy, but can he get it done? Candy going to go for the TP play and should make. No, he can't. Shackles. Oh, of course. Yeah, that is an 8-second shackle cooldown. That is not a good feeling for Candy.
Oh, that is just sickening. I mean, you've seen a lot of work with that cooldown talent, and it's so difficult when you latch it and they're chasing for more.
Yeah, DDZ gonna not get shackled, but your Page is gonna keep up vision. There's your split up, but Skem now has the rift down with a 4-second stun. He won the roulette. Play hard, gonna find the task. He'll blink out of there, but your Page is on the chase. And Barry is certainly just going to die here to your Page. Poor old Yamate. He's just behind them, not knowing what to do. He's just helpless.
He doesn't have a TP for a bit longer. Just an awkward position. Fortunate he didn't walk into the sentry, because he would have been very dead at that situation. But 21-9 now, Mike. 8k, 9k net worth lead. It is harder to gap that. The movements from New Esports hasn't been helping. They lose their mid tier 2. They've got one outer tower left. They still have some steady progress. Yamate is working towards the Manta. I don't know if you want more defensive items. Like, I think in this case, if you if you went for just raw damage somehow, if you wanted to save up for the nullifier, that might have been enough to help you contend with this. But the Manta at this point, I don't know if Neon's gonna be phased by that at all. Like, maybe you break off one dust and run away, but past that point, Neon just buys more dust, or maybe just buys out a gem.
There's a DD rune down at that bot lane. Gem's about to have an AC up, and think New Esports want to let him have that DD. In fact, your Page might even take it. He will. There's your AC up, and they're going to run at them again. Mosen, trying to get some wards out, is going to pay for it with his life. No chance of survival there, and oh, play hard. He found another. It's going to be Barry with the Avalanche toss-out and the Shackles. Another double kill out for Skem. John, he is 10-0-5 right now. Yamate trying to help out DDZ and trying to get himself out. They'll be fine. But how do you deal with this Chaos Knight? He's just too far ahead.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, your damage on Ricky's not enough to pierce through all that armor and HP on Skem. Your damage on DDZ has tapered off. I mean, he doesn't even have his level 18 for the Max Pulse Nova. They're going to try to hold the high ground. Now, they've got the arena. You can play really well in the high ground. Is that control going to be enough? It just doesn't feel like it.
Dota Plus would agree with you, John. Sitting at 97% right now for Neon Esports. Skem gonna keep going after that Rax. Easy Rax for him. He might even go for a second. He's hungry today. No, Skem, he's gonna loop around back towards that mid lane and maybe get that creep wave pushed out. But that's a first easy Rax. I mean, there was literally no defense. In fact, your Yamate's dying to the CK illusions in his own base.
Not a good sign. I mean, those hit hard, but you don't expect them to hit that hard by themselves, and it's just a very difficult game now for New Esports. They've got 2 racks to defend.
Oh, DDZ? DDZ? What? Maybe mispositioning there. Candy, he's going to jump in with the arena. They still have the Leshrac alive. He's trying to survive, but it's not looking great for New Esports. A Skem now just gets to work. He'll get one, and he'll chase for more now. Yamate getting focus fired down by Yopaj. It is not looking great for him. He is left alone. He will go down, and now the Tusk as well. Being shackled up, and he's gone. Pop that Phantasm. It's time for another Rax, it seems.
Oh yeah, it's too much. They've got a couple of buybacks. They don't have a arena for a very long time, and there's nothing to stop Neon. They're just going to keep going. The Aegis does expire. Mind you, Mike, Yopaj did not have MKB for all those fights. He has it now, so his damage is even higher. And just like that, another Rax gonna go for more.
Why not? How do you stop him? There is no damage on New Esports. Feels like literally zero. Again, takes a tier 3 and that'll be it. He wants to back off a bit. Which I must admit, I'm a bit shocked by that.
It's just a cautious play. Perhaps worried about giving out opportunities. They don't have the Hand of God. Maybe they just want to wait for that to be up before committing, just to have a safety net. There's also a few tier 3 items left to pick up. Very ironic for Skem to pick up a repair kit. Doesn't look like anything needs repairing on this map just yet for Neon.
Well, their mid and top lanes still have all their towers, so I guess you can guarantee that you'll keep them from this point. Do have the Guardian Greaves now up on Januel, so a lot more sustain coming out from our Chen. It's a matter of when Neon want to go. They may just feel like there is zero chance for New Esports to come back with this draft, and well, they've got a 1% chance apparently, so wouldn't be wrong in saying 100, I suppose. JG might get run on, they'll go for a smoke. Live Scotty now up on Skem, but they do get a nice arena off onto JG. He cannot get the egg off in time. This could be it, but Skem jumps in with a 3-second stun, and then Barry being deleted. Candy is just TPing out with his BKB, as he knows he can't take the damage, but Mosen gonna get rifted mid-air. The end is nigh, I believe, and yeah, they'll call the GG. They've had enough. That'll be your game one. Going the way of Neon Esports in a very convincing fashion.
Oh yeah, spectacular performance from Neon. You can see why you've got to ban that Chen. It's not just a scam hero. Januel plays it perfectly well. They play around the tempo of it nicely. And New, and we talked about this team doing different drafts. They go back to the Leshrac.
The true heroes are the ones who wait all the way.